It's 2 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with my introduction. Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Alice Jansen and I'm the Education Director with the Texas Children in Nature Network. Thank you so much for joining us today for the webinar Green Jobs Exploring STEM Natural Resource Careers with Ted Stevens, Education Director with the Texas Forestry Association. Ted is also one of our board members. So we just want to thank you, Ted, for all you do to support our work and our mission. Couldn't do it without you. And we also have Deandra Ramsey with the Nature Discovery Center in Bel Air, Texas. She's helping us with our tech today. Thank you for being here, Deandra.
Of course.
We do have automated closed captioning available for this webinar. You can click the Show Caption CC button on the Zoom toolbar for live transcript options. You can also save the transcript. We are recording our session today, so to save bandwidth, we ask everyone to turn off their cameras and mute themselves during the presentation. I will be monitoring the chat, so you can share your questions there, and I will share them with our presenter during the Q&A portion of the presentation, which will be toward the end of the webinar today. I will be sharing the recording link of today's session in a follow-up email. If you are uncomfortable with your name showing, you can change your name to anonymous and then private message Deandra with your name for our attendance purposes. You can change your name by hovering over your name, then click the 3 dots that appear. Also, if your Zoom name does not match the name you registered with, please change your name or private message Deandra with your name. All right, so this next part is very important, so please listen carefully. We get a lot of questions about this. But only registrants that attend the live webinar are eligible to receive a certificate of completion. We do not automatically send all attendees a certificate. You must request the certificate after attending the live webinar. The email you received with the webinar Zoom link has the specific instructions for requesting the certificate. Attendance is taken during the live webinar, and we will check our attendance list to confirm your participation. We do need the name you registered with to issue the certificate. All right, now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and give our land acknowledgement. Texas Children in Nature Network is headquartered in Austin, and as such, I am on the ancestral and unceded land of the Tonkawa, Comanche, and Sana people. Our ongoing colonial presence on indigenous lands compels us to take action now to counteract the effects of colonization. The work we do through Texas Children in Nature Network is one small step towards that effort. Here in a moment, I will put some information in the chat to learn more about land acknowledgements in these indigenous peoples groups. So we just want to thank you all for being here today. We have a very special webinar planned for you all. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and hand it over to Ted to get started. Thanks, Ted.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you for everything you do for Texas Children in Nature. So welcome, everybody. I'm Ted Stevens. I'm the Education Director of the Texas Forestry Association. We're one of the oldest conservation organizations in the state. We've been around since 1914. Our office is in Lufkin, Texas. And I live on my family's 5th generation ranch in Nacogdoches. So I really like to claim Nacogdoches, even though my office is in Lufkin. So thanks, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with my presentation. So today we're going to go over green jobs, and specifically, let me move these boxes so they're not in the way. Okay. We're going to be going over green jobs and the project learning tree curriculums for green jobs and how we can inspire the next generation to pursue a natural resource career. Here's a little history about me. I've been with Texas Forestry Association for about 5 years now. I'm also the project learning tree state coordinator. So down here, these 3 photos are kind of my time over the past 5 years. And up here is my time, my 10 years before that with Texas State Parks. I was started out with the Texas Outdoor Family Program, where I helped start that program in 2008, 2009, where we teach families how to camp. Kind of started my love for outdoor education. After that, I became a park police officer, where I served out in West Texas for some time. Also spent time in the Houston area at Brazos-Benz State Park. This I can actually put on my resume that I know how to officially handle alligators. It's one of those random things. And then ultimately, I was the park superintendent and state park police officer at Cleburne State Park. In 2019, I moved home to Nacogdoches, Texas, to my family's cattle and pine plantation, cattle ranch and pine plantation, to help with its care and help my folks there. So show you that to show that I have a deep love for nature, and I have my entire career has been in some form of environmental education for about 15 years now. And also forgot to mention I attended the University of North Texas. So here's a little video to kind of get you introduced to PLT.
Think back to your first moments in nature. What were you doing? How did it make you feel? Connecting kids to nature has proven health benefits. It sparks curiosity and cultivates an appreciation for what forests need to stay healthy. Project Learning Tree provides a lifetime of learning through
Excuse me.
environmental education, forest literacy, and career pathways. Our award-winning activities are fun, hands-on, and get children outdoors. And as kids grow into young adults, we help them develop skills, networks, and experiences that can lead them to successful career paths in the forest and conservation sector. Through our programs, we're growing a future where all can value and benefit from healthy trees and forests. Visit plt.org to learn more.
When it comes to making better choices for the planet, the time to act is now. The future we all share depends on our commitment to growing solutions that benefit both people and planet. Certification from the Sustainable Forestry Initiative is a mark of that commitment. Choosing SFI certified products and packaging means choosing high sustainability standards, research-driven conservation, sustainable community development, and environmental education. We support sustainable forestry to protect water resources, mitigate climate change, and help our communities adapt. We envision a world that values and benefits from sustainably managed forests. These forests provide habitat for at-risk species, jobs for human communities, and beautiful places where all people can relax, exercise, learn, and grow. SFI is the mark that lets you know we're making better choices for the planet and its people.
So the Sustainable Forestry Initiative, that was a quick video about what they do as far as providing sustainable forest products. And so SFI is the organization that is over Project Learning Tree. So next time you guys are in your grocery store and you're looking for different kind of paper products or forest products, make sure to look for that SFI emblem. Then you know that that was a product that was produced sustainably while protecting wildlife habitat and water quality. So what is a green job? It's just not renewables, TEKS, or manufacturing. It's really any job that supports or restores the environment, contributing to a more sustainable world. And so today we're going to be talking specifically about our Green Jobs curriculum guide that has 4 fun activities to get middle school and high school students interested or thinking about a natural resource career. Well, so why a green job? Well, you know, the next generation wants to feel like that they actually make an impact on the environment, on their community. And so green jobs, more often than not, do exactly that. They give them the ability to make that impact on their community and to make a better world for the generations after them. And then a lot of times kids don't fully know what all those jobs are. So we really want to be able to get curriculum in the hands of educators and teachers so they can help have students have those conversations before they get to the guidance counselor and speak to their guidance counselor. So, and like I said, most people want to make a difference in the world. They want to make a positive impact. And we know that green jobs and natural resource jobs certainly do that. Also, worker satisfaction is much higher in green jobs than at other sectors in the economy. So here's some STEM data points from the Texas Education Agency. So a lot of green jobs you can consider as middle skill STEM wage jobs. And going forward, that is about $35,000 to $95,000 a year. And a lot of those jobs don't even require an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, just requires a high school diploma. Or more than 60% of those middle school STEM jobs requires 6 months or less of formal classroom training. If you have an associate's degree in a STEM career, you can earn $75,000 to $100,000. So you see there's really a lucrative opportunity here for students. My own wife used to be a high school teacher, and she helped teach the finance section of the finance course to students. And the first thing the students want to know is, how much money am I going to make? And so that's why it's important when you talk to students about these careers, they know what these jobs pay. Because at the end of the day, right, we all love what we do, but we also have a mortgage to pay, a light bill to pay, and all those other things in life that require money to be able to raise a family and do the things that we want to do. So that's also important to explain to them. So projected green jobs growth worldwide, 60 million new green jobs projected by 2030. And in 10 years, 2014, 2024, employment will grow about 16,000 job openings for foresters, conservation scientists, wildland firefighters, and timber and wood pellet production. You know, I go and speak to the Stephen F. Austin State University here in Nacogdoches, has one of the top forestry schools in the nation. And I speak to their introductory forestry students every semester. And I tell the ones right now that they're in a very unique position. As we're seeing right now, there's a lot of the boomer generation is retiring. And so there's a lot of upward mobility and opportunities to be had by these students going into the workforce. They will be able to ascend higher into the more managerial, higher level positions much quicker than the generations before them. So PLTs looks at everything we do as trees and forests as a window on the world. And with these jobs, you're able to balance environmental, economical, and social ethical concerns, sustain forest ecosystems, ensure forest products are produced sustainably, mitigate climate change, and enhance human health and well-being. Benefits of green jobs: sustainable future, quality of life, and higher worker satisfaction. Growing demand supports financial stability. And so apparently, according to the TA, the gold standard of a STEM program is that it's cross-curricular, is horizontally aligned, is vertically aligned, and it's eligible for all students. The Green Jobs Guide meets pretty much all of these, and the Green Jobs Guide is also aligned to the TEKS and the new science TEKS for formal educators. So Texas is expected to have the second highest percentage of the nature's future STEM job opportunities. Texas is economically booming. We have, you know, large factories like the Tesla factory, the new Samsung chip manufacturing facility in Taylor. Toyota has moved their headquarters to Plano, Texas. I just read that Subaru is doing the same thing. They're moving their headquarters to North Texas. So there's a large boom in STEM job opportunities right now here in Texas. And within the natural resource jobs, there's a lot of STEM opportunities. It's just not these big legacy manufacturers like I talked about. The one thing I do want to point out is that when we talk about jobs in Texas, we need to talk about non-degreed positions. So this is Senator Robert Nichols' Senate district here in kind of central East Texas. It's my state senator. And if you look at our statistics here, out of the people that live in my Senate district, 15.7% have a bachelor's degree. 17.2% have less than a high school education. So we have more people in the Senate district with less than a high school education than a bachelor's degree. So when we talk jobs, we need to talk 80% non-degreed positions. We need to meet our students where they're at, and because that is where they reside. College is not for everybody, and there's very lucrative opportunities for people of all backgrounds that do not require a degree. And then I have a lot of people say, well, that's East Texas. That's an economically depressed area, right? We've all heard the things that people like to say about East Texas. Well, that's when I like to say, okay, well, let's look at Dallas here. And this district includes SMU University, very prestigious private university. There we will find 21% have a bachelor's degree and almost 26% or less have a high school diploma. And then let's also go down to Houston. I pulled this up when I gave the similar presentation at the CAS conference last year that was in downtown Houston. And there we find 28% have a bachelor's degree and 22% have less than a high school diploma. But if you average it out across the state, we're looking at about 20% degreed, 80% non-degreed. Another wonderful resource that you can use to get kids to go look at different jobs within the forest products industry is forestryworks.com. And actually, Texas is becoming an official partner of Forestry Works. You will find all kinds of great career cards and videos that they can watch about the different careers that they can have. They tell them exactly what's involved in that career, the education required for that career, and also the salary that they could potentially earn. And right here, as you can see, the average age of someone in the forest products industry is 55. The average salary is $46,000, and the number of forestry jobs in the United States is 950,000. Well, let's talk about here in Texas in particular. The forest products industry here in Texas generates about $42 billion, that's billion with a B, of economic activity every year in the state, and supports about 170,000 direct and indirect jobs. Being it's out here in East Texas, sometimes it's overlooked elsewhere in the state, but if you took the forest products industry here in Texas, it would be the most dominant industry in some other neighboring states. We're in the top 5 of agricultural producers here in Texas, giving how big the economic scale of things are in Texas. So with Green Jobs, we have partnered with many different people to do professional development workshops or educational series for students centered around green jobs and natural resource career education. On the left here, we see I was part of the Region 7 Educational Service Center. The Educational Service Centers are the ones that are over the school districts geographically throughout Texas. And I was part of their STEM career education initiative, where we provided opportunities to the students within Region 7. I've also had our Teacher Conservation Institute, which is our professional development workshop series focused on green jobs. We do one every year. We have done tours for U.S. Congressman Brian Babin's student congressional group. We have also worked with the Big Thicket National Preserve and the National Park Service to do those tours, Louisiana Pacific, Rogers Lumber Company, International Paper, and I couldn't do most of my work without the Texas A&M Forest Service. And some of y'all might be confused about who I work for and who they are. So the Texas Forestry Association is the nonprofit that was started in 1914. We actually lobbied in 1915 for the creation of the Texas A&M Forest Service, which is the state agency that you know and love that does all kinds of landowner assistance and all kinds of educational outreach around the state. And they're also the ones that have all the wildland firefighters that take care of the wildfires that pop up in Texas. So here we go. One thing, when we talk about jobs in Texas, we have to talk about the oil and gas industry. That is one of the biggest economic engines in Texas. But it's not the only economic engines, what I'm trying to say here. When you go to rural areas in the state, a lot of kids, if you talk to them, they think if they're going to make a decent paycheck, they need to go buy an RV, go move away somewhere to New Mexico or West Texas, live in some dusty trailer park, working in an oil rig, watching the tumbleweeds go by, having FaceTime with their family back home, missing the ball games, missing the special events. And unfortunately, we've all seen the boom and bust of the oil and gas industry. So that's why I like to try to flip that script. And I want students to know that there's a lot of good, reliable natural resource careers right here in Texas that aren't as subjected to that boom and bust cycle, and a lot of times provide a paycheck comparable and health benefits. And so here's some events where we've worked here recently. We've done career events. Here we are at the State Woodland Clinic, which is a forestry competition that I host. And we had 277 students there this year. And we also set up a green jobs table there. Here's the green jobs table with Laura with the Texas A&M Forest Service, Dave with the Logging Council, and Jeff with Rogers Lumber Company, talking to students about the different green careers that are out there. We also had a recent Earth Day event with Representative Gary Van Dever in New Boston, where he read a book called Lucy Meets a Logger to 80 second graders, and then we did a project learning tree activity with them. So starting them young, they need to know about the different opportunities that are out there. Plus, we do outreach events here. I was at the statewide FFA career event in Austin, talking about the different jobs that can be found with the Forestry Works initiative. And here we are working with the Big Thicket National Preserve, where the students start, and these were the students from U.S. Congressman Brian Babin's student congressional group, where they were able to go out here and plant some native grasses underneath this restored longleaf pine ecosystem. And then we took them on tours to the Louisiana Pacific Lumber Mill in Jasper, Texas. As you can see here, most people think lumber mills, and they might think lumberjacks, someone in plaid, someone that's very basic, slinging chainsaws. That is not at all what you find. These mills are highly mechanized. They have all kinds of sensors. They have miles and miles of networking cables and computers and server racks. As you can see in the picture in the top left-hand corner, this gentleman right here, I spoke to him. He actually, honestly, this is what he told me, got sick of the boom and bust cycle of the oil and gas industry, was sick of being away from home from Jasper, Texas, got this job at Louisiana Pacific. He is now making $35 an hour. And he's here in this operating room watching all the highly mechanized controls of how that mill runs. He has health benefits. And more importantly, at 5 o'clock, he goes home to his family. He's not sitting in that dusty trailer park FaceTiming with them. So we had a great time taking the students out to the mill and showing them around. We also do career days. We did this with Orangefield ISD in Orange, Texas. We brought the students out. They got to tour the small family-owned, more kind of manual operated mill, the Rogers Lumber Mill Company. And then after that, we did green jobs activities with them. And then we also do our Teacher Conservation Institute series. This is a 2-day series of formal educators, or anybody's welcome. But we provide the professional development hours through our TEA accreditation. So the teachers received 18 hours of PD hours attending at this event. They left away certified as green job educators with the Green Jobs Guide. And they also went on fun outdoor tours and got received presentations for different industry professionals, like this one in the top middle. This is Donna Work, who's the wildlife biologist with the Texas A&M Forest Service. And she does all kinds of amazing work with red cockaded woodpeckers, which are endangered, to better provide habitat for them and protect that species of woodpecker. And so all kinds of neat presentations that they get. We also do 4-H extension agent trainings. And here we are taking them out where we train them as PLT facilitators in 3 different PLT guides, including the Green Jobs Guide, and take them on tours of what we call the life cycle of a forest product. And then we also train all kinds of teachers in our Explore Your Environment K through 8th guide. And that's more of a general environmental education guide with 50 TEKS-aligned environmental education activities. But at Stephen F. Austin State University with the College of Ed, we trained their pre-service teachers in that guide. And then we have a very large environmental education event where we set up stations. It's called Bugs, Bees, Butterflies, and Blossoms. And we bring out schools children from all around the local community to come to this environmental education event. And actually the pre-service teachers are the ones teaching them. So it's building their confidence in environmental education and how to use Project Learning Tree. And then hopefully by building that confidence, they're much more likely to integrate Project Learning Tree into their curriculum. Here we are also every year, we have 2 trainings with Sam Houston State University's College of Education. Here we are, there's all these teachers with their new PLT guide. And really it's more important than ever right now that we do these trainings, because unfortunately during the pandemic, more than half of the nature centers closed down. So those traditional, environmental education field trips that these students would be going on, they might not be going on them anymore, because during the pandemic, those nature centers relied 100% on the money they earned from those field trips. And so when that revenue was not coming in, they couldn't pay their staff, they couldn't pay the light bill. And so unfortunately, they closed up. So we see it more important than ever to be able to train teachers to integrate environmental education directly into their classroom. And we see better success rates with it when we train these pre-service teachers that are still in college, because then they walk into that classroom from day one with that confidence to use environmental education. So we're going to go over the PLT Green Jobs Guide now and the different components it has. We're going to watch this short video.
Green jobs represent one of the fastest growing and changing segments of the global economy. At the same time, an estimated 30% of the workforce in the forest and conservation sectors will retire in the next 10 years. The opportunities are vast, and the pool of young people entering green jobs is not sufficient to meet the demand for tomorrow's workforce. You have an opportunity to expose young people to career paths that are not only in demand, but that are also rewarding and help conserve the environment. PLT has several resources to help you get started. The PLT Green Jobs Guide contains 4 learning activities that engage learners in actively exploring forest-related green careers. The activities have been designed for flexibility. You can use individual activities or use the entire set as a standalone unit. You can also adapt activities as appropriate for your learners and your unique setting. Each activity provides step-by-step instructions for getting ready, conducting the activity, and assessing learning. Each activity also offers copyright-free, reproducible handouts for learners. The worksheets are signified with a common icon. Worksheets are also available for download at plt.org. STEM it up! Suggestions for enhancing the activity's connection to science, technology, engineering, and math subjects. Career connections that suggest ways to broaden or deepen learners' exploration of forest careers. Exercises that enrich or extend the learning experience. The guide also contains the 10 STEM skills for everyone's self-assessment. It assesses skills that can help any worker or job seeker in the green economy, whether or not aiming for a STEM career, such as communication and problem solving. Also included is the Your Personality and Green Jobs quiz that helps youth match their personality with an array of green jobs opportunities. Answering a few simple questions could put them on the path to a rewarding green career. An online version of the quiz is also available. Try the online Green Jobs Personality Quiz at plt.org/greenjobsquiz. Lastly, the guide also includes appendices that provide green jobs resources, such as a list of career information websites, job boards, and forestry organizations, teaching tools to supplement the learning activities, a list of other PLT educational resources, and connections to academic standards such as Next Generation Science Standards, Common Core State Standard for Math and English Language Arts, and the C3 Framework for Social Studies. For more tips, tricks, and resources, including suggestions for how to adapt the Green Jobs Guide activities to your audience and setting, check out the Green Jobs Online Professional Development course available at shop.plt.org.
All right, there's a nice quick overview of the guide. Oh. Okay, so we're actually going to do the Who Works in the Forest activity here towards here in a little bit. I know that video referenced a link for the Green Jobs Personality Quiz. I do have a separate link that's actually free to use that I'm going to be sharing with you, and we're all going to do that we're going to do that together here in a little bit. So the main thing about the Green Jobs Guide and all the PLT guides, like our Explore Your Environment K through 8th guide, is they're set up in a way where they're very quickly and easily able to use them. They're all formatted the same, and we do that because we know educators are busy and they need a guide that the lay of the land is familiar. They can go back to it and they can find that activity to very quickly put in to a pre-existing lesson plan or something else that they had planned. We talked about the 10 STEM skills for everyone who works in the forest. That's what we'll be doing later. If you were the boss, this is a great activity. This grid you see in front of you is a 400-acre piece of property. And this is a wonderful activity to get students thinking about how you would manage a piece of property and actually what revenue you could get from a piece of property by managing it differently and how that impacts the wildlife species present. So that is a great higher level thinking activity about land use management and the different things that interplay with that. Monitoring forest health enables students to go out and to actually conduct a forest health inventory. So they'll look at tree and crown condition, forest diversity, lichen abundance, soil quality, regeneration, snags and coarse woody debris, and wildlife. And then they're going to analyze that data to determine the health of that forest. And finally, the last one is seeking sustainability. And this explores the concepts of sustainability by the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And it also explores the 7th generation principle. So this principle, if you're not familiar with it, means the decisions we make today, how will they affect 7 generations later? And then also the triple bottom line. And so these three things, social well-being, economic prosperity, and environmental protection, all intersect for forest sustainability. And we find the best forest sustainability if we find the perfect spot between these three different attributes. So we also have other PLT curriculum offerings. I talked about your Explore Your Environment K-8 activity guide. We also have Trees and Me, which is our early childcare guide for young children. And then another one I'm going to show you that just came out here recently, but is a great resource, is our Black Faces and Green Spaces. This is the journey of Black professionals in green careers. And so if you go to the Journeys website, this is what you're going to see. You can download this guide for free. The Green Jobs Guide does come at a cost, but this guide you can download for free. And there's also great career posters you can download for free too. And here's an example of some of those. So I highly suggest to go check out plt.org/journeys. Okay, so now this is what the worksheet looks like if we were doing this in person, if we were together in person to do the who works in the forest. And this is actually the worksheet I use a lot at career fairs because students, they don't really know what direction they should go. So what this is, this enables them to figure out what kind of personality they have. And then it suggests different types of jobs that might be right for them, or natural resource jobs that could be right for them based upon their personality. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this. Oh, got a little ahead of myself. Let me copy and paste. Excuse me while I stop my share real quick so I can copy and paste that into the chat box. I apologize for not having that loaded up ahead of time. But I'm going to put this link in the chat box, and then I'm going to go to it so we can see it and show you how it works. So I encourage y'all to go to that link yourself. One second while I get that pulled up. Okay, so here's the Green Jobs Guide. So you're going to put in your name, put in your age. And then what you're going to do is you can go through here and you're going to mark down different things about yourself. Just keep going through it. So like me personally, I like working or being a leader of a group. I'm a very social, gregarious person. I am very compassionate for others. But I won't go through all of this with you. I'm just trying to show you how it works. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to go through this and find what your personality type is, and then it will suggest different kinds of jobs that meet that. A quick spoiler on mine, when I did take it, it said I needed to be a park ranger or an environmental educator. And if you were around for when I gave my history of what my career was, that's exactly what I've been doing for 15 years. And I've had a lot of other people take it, and it can be very accurate.
All right, thank you, Ted. Are you ready for some Q&A?
Oh no, we're not done with the presentation. I'm giving them 5 minutes to go do the personality test. So we're gonna go back.
Okay, sorry about
that. Yeah, I kind of put it here in the middle of it just so we could break it up a little bit. Anybody want to share in the chat box? Thank you, Sarah. You did. What you got? So Sarah got soil scientist or forestry engineer. Sounds like maybe she rates a little higher on the practical side of things, given that. Does anybody else want to share what they got on the Green Jobs personality quiz? Okay, Elizabeth got nature photographer or marketing. EcoRise does a lot of good work in the States. I'm sure some of your marketing skills might help with that. Kathleen got safety inspector or logistics manager. Sarah got environmental educator. Molly got soil scientist and wildlife biologist. Wildlife biologist or wood scientist is Mylene got. Molly said, sadly, no social sciences.
Yeah, it's funny. I was analytical and like curious and intellectual or whatever, and it gave me only like natural science type jobs, but I'm a social scientist.
Oh yeah, I mean that's in the same neck of the woods somewhat, right? I mean, well, thank you for everybody sharing. I guess I'll go back into and finish this. Let me go back to Zoom so I can share my screen. Obviously, you guys are all familiar with Texas Children in Nature since you signed up for this, but I want to highly encourage y'all to come join us in Waco, December 11th through 13th at the summits. Let me tell you, this is the chicken noodle soup for your environmental educator soul. I'm dead serious. When you come to this conference, you're going to be surrounded by, you're going to be like, these are my people. At least that's how I feel. It's a wonderful conference, a lot of great collaboration, learning. So please take a look at it. Please come join us in Waco. Waco is pretty centrally located in the States. And also Sarah's reminding me here that the RFPs or call for sessions is open right now. So if you would want to come speak at the conference, we'd love to get your RFPs in, and you can find more information about that at the Texas Children in Nature website. So please come join us in Waco. We'd love to see you in person, just not over Zoom. We're going to have a great time. Plus, I always love to plug Deep in the Heart. We're going to watch this for a second. It is an incredible nature documentary. And I was fortunate to help develop some of the curriculum that went out with it. So let's watch this. If you haven't seen this, please watch it. You know, and could be a good video to show kids to get them interested in being a conservationist, a wildlife biologist, someone who, a park ranger that manages parklands, because I know a lot of the film that was shot in this documentary was shot on National Park Service property or Texas Parks and Wildlife property.
Texas is a land of mystery and legend. Incredibly vast.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
And diverse. It's where the Rocky Mountains give way to the Great Plains, and where the forests of the Deep South converge with the Blackland Prairie. From the spring-fed rivers that bless the hill country to the tropical forest of the Rio Grande Valley, Texas gives life to animals found nowhere else and attracts migrations from across the hemisphere. From our headwater springs to the Gulf of Mexico, it is a land sculpted by water, where nature has selected for the most adaptable and to those willing to stake their claim. For the very first time, this film will celebrate the natural wonders of Texas. It is a story about tragedies in our past, of recoveries against all odds, and is a call to action to conserve the wildlife and wild places in our home. This is a story for all who love Texas.
Sorry about those random pauses. I was trying to respond to a chat in the chat box, but as soon as I click away, it pauses the movie. Anyhow, we also saw fishery technicians, fishery biologists. There's all kinds of good natural resource careers that you could talk about while showing this film to your students or anybody that you're involved with. Another thing I love about this film is it shows the ecological diversity of our state. You know, a lot of our youth don't really leave darn near a 30-mile radius of their home. So they don't realize how incredible and diverse this state really is. And so this is a great way to show them that, build pride in their state. I know that I want to put on my Texas flag shirt and let out a yeehaw every single time I'm done watching this film. But I was fortunate to work with them on the curriculum. So if you go to, and it looks like Sarah was able to share the website. There is curriculum you can download and lessons that go with the film. And you can also download 3 free PLT activities, 4 free PLT activities to use that also relate back to the film. So do we have any questions? Feel free to put it in the chat box or unmute, however you feel like you want to speak up.
Yeah, there actually was well, I think you answered it in the chat actually earlier about the number of jobs, if it was Texas, US, or international, and you said US. So let's see if there's any other questions here.
I think Sarah is still having issues seeing my presentation. Are you able to see it, Alice?
I can see it.
Sarah, there must be something going on with your Zoom or something.
Does anyone have any questions for Ted about the presentation or the resources he shared? All right. I'm not seeing any. Let's see, here comes a question. Curious, this is from Mylan Arias. Is the available curriculum regarding this regarding the film aligned with TEKS? And said curriculum also be edited to include specific examples about our own regions? For example, I'm based in the RGB.
Yes, so if you go to plttexas.org, you will find all the TEKS alignments for green jobs and our Explore Your Environment K through 8th guide. Those have I'll put that address in the chat box here. We just got our new alignments up from the new science TEKS. And as far as examples for the Rio Grande Valley, we have already had some trainings down in McAllen. I mean, you guys do have trees, right? It's not like you have pine trees that we have here in East Texas, but you do have trees and you have a lot of wildlife. So there is a ton of our opportunity to tap into that. And also our activities are generic enough where they do work in the Rio Grande Valley. We also have Project Learning Tree workshops in El Paso. We're all over the state and it works in all those places, just not here in East Texas where all the pine trees are.
And Sarah Coles shared also that the Deep in the Heart film curriculum is also aligned with TEKS as well.
Looks like Catherine wanted the contact slide again, and then we had another question about let me get back to my chat box.
Tim had just a comment. Great resources. Thanks for presenting. I have a young gentleman coming tomorrow, in fact, to discuss what he needs to do in order to find his career path. This should all be helpful to him.
Yeah. Tim, our business mode. So I represent the Texas Forestry Education 501c3. I'm the only employee of it, but we are the education and 501c3 arm of the Texas Forestry Association. PLT is owned technically by the Sustainable Forestry Initiative, but I am the state coordinator with it. And I coordinate in conjunction with the Texas A&M Forest Service. I work very closely with the Texas A&M Forest Service to do about everything that I do.
All right. Another question from Kathleen. This was really interesting. My husband has been wanting to find work in a greener industry than he currently works in. So I will share some of this information with him. It will also be great for students wanting to work with nature.
Well, I'm glad that you'll be able to get some use out of it and right there in your own household.
And then Mylin said, thank you, excellent. I'm with American Forest. We're developing for environmental literacy, developing opportunities for environmental literacy.
Oh.
So this is huge and good to know. It's updated. Thank you.
Yeah, well, Mylin, reach out anytime if there's anything we can collaborate on.
Sarah Verploeg says, these are wonderful resources. Thank you. I love my job and I'm happy where I landed, but certainly wish I had access to these earlier. Excited to share these with local schools. Thank you. There was another question from Tim. And do other states work like your Texas branch? Can you comment on your peers?
So PLT is housed in different entities in different states. We have a presence in Canada, the United States, Mexico, and Japan. And so the other states, like an example, if you go over to the Louisiana Forestry Association is who houses PLT there. But if you go up to Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Forestry Commission, which is the state agency, is who houses it there. If we shoot over to North Carolina, PLT is housed under a university. Same thing in Florida. So it's just different in organizations within those states that are engaged in forestry education or conservation. And they will have an agreement with PLT National. And that's how that kind of ends up on who's where.
Great. Let's see. Someone just posted a link to the PLT resources for Illinois. So thank you for that. Any other questions for Ted? Oh, and Tim Strudeman is with the Boy Scouts of America, it looks like.
Tim, I'm actually an Eagle Scout myself. So you got my contact info. If there's anything I can help you with, please reach out to me.
Okay, great. Any other questions? We have more time. I'm going to go ahead and just share our next webinar. Our next webinar is actually next week on June 12th at 2 p.m. This is a partner exclusive webinar actually, and it's with the Guadalupe Blanco River Authority. And it's on, it's with the Canyon Lake Gorge on using your nature site to teach about the updated science TEKS on the engineering design process. So this is exclusively for our partners. So if you are not a partner yet, please sign up to be an official partner of the Texas Children in Nature Network. I'm just going to drop the webinar information in the chat with the link to register. And you can find how to become a partner on our Texas Children in Nature Network website. Let's see if there's any other questions. All right. I don't see any more questions coming through. I do want to go ahead and share our evaluation for today. So we appreciate your feedback. That helps our presenters and it helps us know what types of topics you all would like to know about for future webinars. And I felt like there was one last thing. Oh yeah, the most important thing. not the most, but a very important thing is this information about our work and donating. So we are able to offer all of our webinars free of charge, and we're able to continue to bring these webinars to you and our other resources for our partner network through donations to the Texas Children in Nature Network. So we encourage you all to consider a donation today to support all the work that we're doing.
Yeah, can I echo that real quick? You know, Texas Children in Nature is the premier organization around the state connecting children with nature and connecting different organizations with one another so they can get more children outside. You know, I hate to put it this way, but we're kind of fighting somewhat of a losing battle to the ever-present screen in every child's life. So please consider donating to Texas Children in Nature. Folks like Sarah and Alice do amazing work around the state, and we have other people that are embedded in communities like Houston, the Rio Grande Valley, and Dallas that do this work on a daily basis. And they could certainly use your support. So if you believe in getting kids outside and getting kids connected with nature for their mental and health benefits, please make a donation to Texas Children in Nature.
Thank you for that, Ted. And I went ahead and put the partner link to get more information about becoming a partner of the Texas Children in Nature Network. It's actually pretty easy and it's free of charge. Basically, you just agree to sign on to our mission and strategic plan. We ask that you read our strategic plan and our mission, and then there's just a simple form to fill out that will make you a partner. And as a partner, you get the logo. Get the logo on the our website and benefits like these exclusive partner webinars and other partner benefits. So we encourage you all to do that. I'm going to go ahead and put the evaluation. I thought that it went to everyone, but it didn't. So let me put that in again. And again, please fill out the evaluation to give us some feedback. We just have a few minutes left. So if anybody has any follow-up questions or comments, please put them in the chat. And we appreciate everyone being here today for this webinar. We really appreciate Ted's time and his expertise. He's doing a lot of great work in this area of green jobs and working with our youth to show what kind of future job careers they might be able to have. There is a question coming in. Let's see. Comment. Great information. Love what y'all do. Is there an organization like this with jobs that are more animal-based?
Kathleen, I do not know that. Being I'm in the forestry world, I do not know that. I wish. I don't think Project Wild, which is the more wildlife-based education program, I am personally not aware of a career curriculum that they have. But you might want to reach out to Sarah Jose with Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. Just Google TPWD and Project Wild to get her contact info, and she might be able to help you out with that.
And Sarah, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Sarah has a great said check out the Texas Zoological Association.
We do have another question from Darshell. Any advice for adults looking to cross over into green careers in the future?
Well, I will say this, like specifically after my 10 years with Texas State Parks, if you're looking to go into a government agency for natural resources, it is very competitive. And to set yourself apart, I would go volunteer somewhere like at your state forest or at your state park. For me in particular, when I started my career at TPWD right out of college, what set me apart from the other 200 applicants they had for that one position I applied for was the fact that I had already volunteered and had been volunteering at the state park nearest University of North Texas, which is Lake Ray Roberts. So sometimes just doing those kind of things and getting that informal experience and having that on your resume will set you apart and show that you're serious about wanting to make this transition and go into this career field versus someone who's just got hit and send on every application they can find.
That's great advice, Ted. Volunteering is a great way to get your foot in the door. Looks like there's Rochelle said, thank you for the great advice. And then Mylen was saying thank you as well. All right, well, if
Appreciate
there
y'all.
aren't any other questions, we can go ahead and sign off and say goodbye. We appreciate everyone being here today. Hopefully you learned about some new resources that you can integrate into your work and your programs and get some of our youth headed in the green direction for future green jobs. Kathleen says, thank you. So positive, great resources. Thank you. Awesome, Ted. Well, we will see you back here at 7 o'clock for
Yep,
our
see you at 7 o'clock.
second webinar showing. So again, thank you all. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, I will be sending out a follow-up email with resources and the recording for this webinar. So be on the lookout for that next week. And y'all have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Have a good one. Thank you.